And welcome to our podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
And you'll know by that sweet, sweet angel voice that Zoya's back. Zoya,
welcome back.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
I was all set to do a solo episode, and then I was like, wait, Monday is the 4th of July, so no one's gonna give a shit. Ain't no one listening to a solo episode of me talking on a podcast while they're eating fireworks and seeing hot dogs in the sky.
Hot dogs in the sky.
Hot dogs in the
with
sky.
Diamonds.
Of course, my favorite Ellie Goulding song. Thank you for returning from the East Coast to be back with us, Zoya.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited to see you. You know, I always am.
Yeah.
And today is no different.
No different. None.
I got to fall asleep next to you. Well, no, that is not true. I got to be asleep next to you. I fell asleep on the couch because I don't know if you check my Zodiac. I'm a bit of a wild child.
Wild childs.
And so I'll flip the fuck out every now and again. I'll flip the script on the universe and fall asleep on the couch.
There you go.
Because I do wild child shit.
Wild thing.
Do you understand me?
Wild thing.
So anyway, that's a little bit about me. And thank you for being back. You had an adventurous trip home.
Yes, I did.
You were the maid of honor at your best friend's. You're going to be the maid of honor at your best friend's wedding. So
Yes.
you're
What I like to call best bitch.
best bitch. And you don't write that down immediately for a title suggestion, Zoe?
Yes.
Because swearing is
Totally allowed.
damaging.
No, it's not.
So you're the best bitch for your friend Jackie, who is small, and you had to go back and do her shower.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah.
And you were able to see your family when you were back. You were able to see my family when you were back.
Yes.
Tell me some fun stories about what happened.
Well, we talked, my grandmother actually was talking shit to me, which is hilarious. My grandmother's very, very funny.
Yeah.
Like, extremely, extremely funny.
Funny how?
Funny in how I was at the house and we were all outside talking, and she just looked at me, like, no context, no nothing, and she was like, do you think you could just come here and eat everything for free? You think you could just come here and steal things?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And immediately I'm like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah. She's like,
Answer me.
who's going to start paying for this?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, you know what? You're right.
What did
I
you
need
eat?
to
Did you
pull-
have your arm in the cereal box or something like that?
No. My mom made food and whatever. And we were all ripping butts on the back deck.
Sure.
And I reached for, her pack of cigarettes. She was like, what do you think? What do you think? This is free? And of course she's like talking shit. So the next morning I was like, Non, my mom's in the shower now. I was like, I'm going to cut her hair. And as soon as I'm done, I want you to go wash your hair and I'm going to cut your hair.
How do you say it, though?
Non kan vi ta perfloktmas jämkru med floktmams.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say if you said that.
So, Ani shikayeme, she says to me, okay, my girl,
Yeah. Yeah, uh-huh.
She's like, but you came here to relax, not to kiarden pushim, mosmopanu.
She thought you were trying to make money off of her.
Not to work. No, she's like, you came to rest and you came to relax and not to work, whatever. And I was like, no. I was like, I have it here. I was like, it's fine, And when she said to me, kiarden pushu, I asked her, what does pushu mean? And she, in English, of course, everything is in Albanian. She goes, relax.
She said
And I was
it?
like, I knew it.
I've never heard her. Were you just testing her?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, too, I was like trying to make a joke, and she thought that I didn't know what pushim meant.
There's no sarcasm in Albanian. There's no room for it.
Right? Only on her end.
Yeah.
So, of course, I was like cracking up, and it was just very funny and all of the things.
That's great. They love you very much. Have you ever been home where you haven't also done work?
I don't think so. Thank you. Ain't no rest for the wicked, right? Is that how it goes?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. No, but the shower went really, really well. It was really, really nice to see a bunch of our friends and a bunch of my friends in the short period that I was home. You know, I got to spend some real time with my mama and Nonna, and they're in their new house, which is great. And my Aunt Vera was there too. She stayed the night a couple of nights.
That's weird. When you were during that whole story, I was picturing the old house.
Yeah.
It's difficult
to
make the adjustment.
It's very weird. There were a couple of times where I was in the car with my mom, and I started driving to the old house because it's not far from where she lives now. And it was just funny. Like, you know, it was just nice to be home. It was nice to just kind of chill and relax and spend time with my sisters. And, you know, my nephew was very much so around. And, like, we went swimming a couple of times. We stayed in the pool. Mm-hmm. I nearly killed myself this weekend in their pool, which we'll get to.
I can't wait for that part. Because you told me that you called me and you told me what happened. Mm-hmm. And I was very nervous and very worried.
Yes.
And now I need everyone watching and listening to know that I already had all of those emotions.
Right.
So anything else that comes out now is after we cared a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, like, it was just a really nice chill. I got to see my best friend and her babies and spend time with them, and it was just nice. It was a nice trip home. And on the 4th of July, so I got home yesterday, which was Tuesday. 4th of July was Monday, and we decided that we were all going to be at Violet's house all day and swim and eat and whatever and drink and all of the things. And we used to play this game called Old Timers, and my niece named it. I don't know why. She was 8, maybe 9.
Explain the game.
So we used to have, like, this floaty that had, like, a foot hole, right? Like, you would lay on it, and, like, you could either keep your feet, like, up on the floaty, or you can dip your feet into the water because there was, like, a little opening. And we used to, like, dive into the hole, like, see how far you could be from the deck with the floaty and see how far you could jump into the hole.
Like shooting baskets, but with yourself.
Basically. We've played this game 1,000 times. Old Timers was always the game. You know, my nephew was into it. Me and my sister were. Vyolta always killed it. She always had, like, the most perfect form and all of the things. And
yes.
So.
Unscathed.
Right. We, 1,000 times. I'm not even joking, 1,000 times.
Uh-huh.
And we were teaching Erin, my best friend's daughter, my other best friend's daughter, how to play.
Uh-huh.
And
come now, Erin, time to play Old Timers.
Right. So Erin and she was like, that was crap. You know, she told me that my form wasn't good the first couple of times. I go in, dive in, bam. I smashed.
You dive in, like, straight up dive. Like,
well,
dive.
Like, yes, dive, yes. But I was
into
like
an above ground pool.
I was on an angle, right? I've done this, I can't begin to tell you, 1,000 times.
Yes.
I am aware that the pool is shallow. This pool is much bigger than the last one.
Sure.
Because they redid their entire backyard a couple years ago.
Did they add a deep end?
No.
Okay.
So I go in for the kill and nearly killed myself. I smashed my face. So I have, like, a bruise on my forehead. So forehead hit first, smashed my nose, and, like, tweaked my neck so bad.
Yeah.
And I literally underwater was like, can I feel my arms and my feet and my legs? Yeah, I literally, because I was like, oh my, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
So I'm immediately like, did I just paralyze myself? Mm-hmm. Like, scared. I was scared. So I literally, like, popped back up, and I'm like, okay, I can feel everything. Did I break my nose? So I immediately grabbed my nose And I look at Violta and I'm like, I think I broke my nose. So I'm like feeling it and it's all intact, you know, and I'm like checking, like I'm hanging over the side of the pool, like checking to see if I'm like bleeding, you know.
Yeah, you have boogies or no?
A little bit, boogers.
Pool boogies,
yeah, pool boogies is always my favorite rap song for the summertime. And there's no blood, there's no nothing. Automatic bruise though.
Can I pause you for a second?
Yes.
How's pool boogies go?
Pool boogies, pool boogies, pool boogies in water. That's terrible.
That's your favorite song. Okay, so you come out.
I come out.
Uh-huh.
There's no blood. There's just pool boogers.
Yeah.
And yes. And my mom is like, Zoe, like I can hear that
she knows that
like,
something's wrong. She can see
terribly wrong.
Yeah.
And Violta's like standing right there, and she's like trying to like push me, like pull me, turn me around to see my face and all the things. And I was like, everyone stop. Give me a second.
You're like, it's not okay to dive in the pool. Right. I'm making a rule right now. Okay, new rule.
So of course, and now you know, like my niece Erin, my best friend's daughter, is like freaking out, right? Like you can see like sheer terror. And I was like, Tizzy's okay.
She's like, oh, this is this game.
I was like, I am okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but we can't do that no more.
Yeah.
This game is over.
Sure.
You know? So I like, got out of the pool. Yeah. So I got out of the pool. And of course, you know, my mom was like, you got to do this. I wish I was drunk. Like, I just wish that, like, okay, I did something stupid because I was wasted. No.
You were just,
you know, normal.
Dude, that's how I felt when, back in the day, when I got, you know, now I got these scars. Mm-hmm. You know all about this.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I was at a party and we were playing beer pong.
Yeah.
And this is the most important part of the story. First game of the night. Mm-hmm. So no one is drunk.
Right.
There's no pregame.
Right.
Everyone's just chilling.
Yeah.
The house is very old.
Yeah.
It was in Staven, I believe. And the ball bounces towards this kind of deck that they have, which just is separated by an old door, and the glass is so old and thin that if you've ever seen really old glass, it almost like drips.
Yeah.
And super thin, super old. And I go chasing this ball and I stumble and my arm goes through the old glass. Mm-hmm. And I immediately know that it's bad.
Yeah.
And that if I pull it out, it's going to be
worse.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, but I was good at operation as a child. So I got to pull my arm out without touching the edges. So I pull it out. My arm is covered in blood. There's an EMT there who's like, just put a bandage on it. And that's not good. This over here was super deep. And then this, I had gotten these tattoos like 6 months earlier. These tattoos are really never intact.
Yeah.
And like my skin's hanging off. And the whole time I was like, I wish I'm going to have to tell people why I look like this. Mm-hmm. And I wish I could say that it was because I was drunk and I could look at my hand and be like, every time I look at my hand, that's my reminder not to drink.
Right.
But it is really just a reminder not to play games in an old house.
Near old windows.
Yeah. And that's we like to teach you something on every episode of this podcast.
Right.
And that is, if you dive into an above ground pool, don't instead. And then also don't play games in an old house.
Right. So basically no games anywhere is what we're saying.
No games in an old house. Why don't you write that down for a title suggestion? We'll see if we could beat that.
But yeah, so I was but I mean, yesterday I woke up to get on my flight and I was so sore.
Yeah.
And it was so bad. And then I ended up calling the chiropractor because I felt like if I needed x-rays, that was the quickest I was going to be able to get it.
Sure.
So I go in and I explain to him, and he was like, were you drunk? And I was like, no. He's like, this story's stupid.
No,
He's like,
I was playing old man. Or was it old timers?
Yeah. It was very annoying. And so he was like, checking me out. He's like, I don't think you need x-rays. He's like, and then he turns me over and he touched this, right? And like he pulls on this a little bit.
Okay.
And I jumped. And he was like,
what would you even call that?
So this is like, I don't even know. Yeah. Something. And it's just the muscle, like right around your like jugular and whatever,
sure.
like your throat. And he like touched it and I jumped and he's like, oh, you have whiplash.
Bronchitis.
He's like, you literally gave yourself whiplash bad.
Damn,
he was like, so come see me in 2 more days and we'll go from there.
Think about how much worse it would have been if there was no water.
Imagine. But it hurts to chew. I will say that my teeth hurt. Like all my entire face. Hurt? Yeah.
Did you?
I have a no.
Did you bite?
I don't think so because I hit like the way I hit, right? Forehead. So like it's not even bruised on the outside, but it's like tender to the touch.
Uh-huh.
So I hit here, smashed my nose, and then like cranked my neck.
What happened to your hands at this point? Are you swan out?
Honestly, thank God that I didn't fucking hit my hands first. I could have broke both my wrists.
So you would almost rather have hit your face because of your profession.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm so beautiful. Ain't nothing going to mess this up.
I don't even care at this point. Like, I don't care. I would have taken a mangled face and still been able to work versus a broken wrist.
See, I, as your husband, would want it the opposite way. Okay, because we have a podcast and we need to pay these bills.
Yeah. Okay.
And we could,
if you still
look beautiful,
though.
but you have your 2 casts, Castor Troy.
Yeah, right? That means you would have to upload the podcast and do all of the things.
That's fine. I'll put coffee in your mouth.
Ass.
I'd wipe your ass, Zoe.
Yeah, I know you would.
Okay? I'd wipe your ass with no toilet paper. I love you.
That's disgusting.
I love you, I said. That's the part you remember. Forget that other part.
That's disgusting.
I'd scoop you nice. But listen. Listen, Zoe, I love you. I told you on the day we got married that I'd scoop you nice. And that's the truth. And I would have to upload the podcast and I would have to do the dirty work, but luckily you're back and your hands are fine. It's just your face is a little fucked up.
Yes.
And what was supposed to happen if Monday wasn't a holiday, was I was supposed to do a solo cast. But this weekend was nothing but weird plans and feeling absolutely exhausted. I've been in this weird funk for about a week where I've been feeling very low energy and antisocial. And I hate it because I fucking love being around people.
Right.
But, I was invited to a lot of things by a lot of fucking really nice, awesome people, and I didn't go to any of them. Yeah. Because I've just been feeling like I need to sleep and catch up on sleep, and I was probably missing you a lot. Yeah. But I'm fine, and I did stuff, and I kept myself busy making stuff, and I played golf a couple times. I'd like to tell you one story about golf.
Tell me.
And then I'll say that I was supposed to do a solo podcast, and Josh was on the Twitter, and he asked everybody for a 1-word suggestion.
Which nobody really listened to. There's a few that listen to it, but...
You can't give people on the internet too many rules.
No. I mean, most people... Actually, I retract that. Most people did listen.
Yeah. Everybody who didn't, we'll call them out by name.
Yeah.
And they'll know that they got. I want to say one thing before I do this segment or these stories. I think that we could finally put to rest Mike's ankles, and that joke is over, and we never have to ever say it again because Zoya has smashed her face on a pool. And so finally the heat is off of me and it's onto Zoya, and we never have to talk about the ankles thing again. And it basically didn't even happen. You kind of wiped that out of existence. Now, Zoe, I went to play golf the other day.
Yes.
And I went by myself, and I was feeling this weird, funky way.
You just spit. Did you hurt your ankles while you were away?
No, that joke is actually over.
All right.
So My plan was to just go to the par 3 and to put my earbuds in and just to listen to music and just be by myself.
Right.
So I go there and it's like either the day of the 4th of July or the 3rd of July. And the place is fucking packed because everybody's off and I went too late. I didn't go super early in the morning. So you know that place is fucking crawling with people.
Yes.
I go up there by myself because it's a public course and you kind of just stand in line and go. There's no like tea times. This dude comes up to me, heavy Boston accent, maybe a little drunk. There's no way to prove that. Just kind of, I'm just going by sounds really and demeanor. And he comes up and he has a tattoo that says, "I love DJs." And he said, "Do you mind if we, or are you joining us?"
Yeah.
And I was in front of them in line, but I don't know why I'm joining them all of a
No,
sudden.
I'm not.
Which is what I should have said.
Yes.
But I'm like, I've been so antisocial for the past week. I might as well say yes to some kind of experience.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll have a story about it later. Luckily, I'm the smartest guy in the world and I was right.
Yes.
Is it going to be a great story? No. Because we don't get everything.
Right.
Immediately. So it's me, this dude with a bucket hat with a tattoo that says, "I love DJs."
Hey, DJ, my DJ.
And his friend who has maybe 4 teeth.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
His friend immediately comes up. He goes, "This guy's a talker. This guy talks a lot."
Oh, God.
Bucket hat proceeds to, in an announcer voice, the entire time,
Yeah.
do like hacky golf sex jokes. Which is like the first layer of jokes you do when you play golf.
Right.
Which is like, this is the only sport where you could wash your balls in public and have a threesome with 2 guys and you play with your sticks and everybody's out and the other guy starts washing his ball. He goes, "This guy likes wet balls. This guy is out here in public washing his balls." So on and so forth, right? So mentally, I'm like, uh-oh, I'm out. Other guy starts talking. He's like, "You're the only guy who can rival me as far as everybody who likes talking. I thought I liked talking. Then I met this guy." I haven't said one word this whole time. I'm just like, yeah, I'm doing my mom's thing where she's like, "I don't know," right? The whole time this is happening, this is the first hole, all of this is happening. I noticed that the guy with 4 teeth has a hat on that says, "Back nines matter." I don't know what genre of golf jokes that is, but I'm not in that party. You know what I mean? So we're backed up a lot. We get to the second hole and there's like 2 groups waiting to get on the second hole. And I said, "Boys, I think I'm going to skip around a little bit," because there were some empty holes. The 9th hole was open and I was going to go play the 9th and then just start again by myself. I see a line starting to form on the first hole again. I could jump over to the 7th, but anywhere you go, it's so packed that you're going to be behind several groups of people and it's kind of rude to be by yourself at that point.
Right.
Because if I'm by myself, then I'm holding up a group of 4. That's not good etiquette.
Okay.
I look around. I said, "I'm going to skip around a little bit." And they were like, "You sure?" And I said, "Yeah." And then I just turned around and then I went home. I'm going to skip this hole and the 8 other ones and I'm going to go to my house.
Yeah.
So I tried to be around people.
Yeah.
And then that happened.
And then they ruined it.
And I was like, all right, I'm kind of out.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I would have been out myself.
Yeah, but it is a perfectly fine story, and it's a thing that really happened. It's not funny enough to be... You know what is sad? Is that it's not funny enough to be, like, stand-up or anything. So I couldn't even be productive with it, but it is a nice story to tell you. That is what happens when you go away. And then I was supposed to come back here and do a solo podcast where we got these suggestions from Twitter. I did not do that. So without further ado,
it says,
Zoya, will you be the voice of the people?
Let's say Mike is hypothetically doing a solo cast this week.
Yes.
What are things you would like to hear him talk about? 1-word suggestions only.
So this is my solo cast, but Zoya's also here.
Megan Tonjes says Pittsburgh.
Me and Megan Tonjes went to Pittsburgh, where she was hit on by, I want to call him like a dungeon townie, but that feels like disrespectful.
Okay.
So think about the guy in the drum section of Guitar Center. Sam Goody. Not Guitar Center. Sam Goody. That they don't let away from the desk.
Okay, yes.
It was like him.
Yeah.
And he was telling us all about how there's cars that run on hydrogen, but the government won't let us have them. And he was obsessed with Megan.
Okay.
This is like fucking 11 years ago by this point. And Megan was giving me the look like, we got to get out of here. Come save me. Yeah. Come be my fake boyfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
I go over and I go, you too? And I don't just say this. Yeah. Would make a beautiful couple. And I leave.
You fucking asshole. What an asshole. She also says apples.
Dude.
What an asshole.
And then I told them, we were supposed to, dude, there's a longer story that goes along with this, but we were booked at like an open mic. Mm-hmm. And we got there and it was not a good situation. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really feel like doing my act or whatever. Fair. I was just musician at this time.
Yeah.
And I went up there. I told them I was a rapper, and then I rapped one song, and then I left while some other guy beatboxed. And she's been going through like footage of all this stuff from 1,000 years ago. Yeah. She's been finding all these things. She found some really cute pictures of me and you when we first started dating as well. Mm-hmm. So that happened, and then I think I've told the story a million times where we slept in the basement of just somebody's house that liked her on the internet, and there was a cat that was looking at me as I fell asleep, and when I woke up the next morning, the cat was in the same position, just looking at me the whole time, like I had slept on its kids or something. Oof. And I hadn't. I checked. And it was just sketchy. I told the people that we were staying with that we were dating and that we needed to share a bed because I didn't want to sleep in this. It was like a house made of asbestos, it looked like. I remember I'll never forget driving into Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And you see the lights and the bridges. And it looked beautiful. And I was like, this is going to be the shit. And then we start driving out into the suburbs. And it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. And we didn't have a show. And I was bummed out that we never got like the true Pittsburgh experience. Or that is the true Pittsburgh experience.
I mean.
But yeah, that's that. That's all I have to say about Pittsburgh.
Tyler Carrier says, opinions on the new Coheed album, if you have listened to it.
Have not heard it, but I will.
Darren
Gardner says, DVG?
Yes.
I wrote down the response for this one.
What has been the wildest look how far I've come moment in regards of being a stand-up comedian?
First of all, not one word. And right. I think we could all agree on that. Yes. Second of all, I was so excited to answer that it didn't matter.
Yes.
Third of all, while I was writing this down, I was like, dude, if I was listening to this, either this part would interest me a lot or it's just boring, like sucking my own dick stuff.
Okay.
So I wrote down a little list because that question means a lot to me. And I would love to extrapolate on that question.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay.
But the more I was writing down this list and would love to tell the story behind each of these things that I put on this list.
No time for that.
No time. And also, who
cares?
Call me up, Darren, and I'll talk about it. Thank you for not being proud of me and all that I've accomplished.
I am very proud of you,
Listen
so don't fucking even go there.
So
don't do it.
These are the most look how far I've come moments in stand-up. We've been here for what? 9 years.
It'll be 9 years in July.
So
I finally figured out when we actually came.
When I came here, I was bad at stand-up.
You still are.
Well, you don't have to agree.
I'm sorry. Did I say something?
Yes, almost immediately. So first was being on the marquee at the Laugh Factory.
Awesome.
Because that was the place where I watched the Laugh Factory videos on YouTube. when I was like trying to figure out if I even wanted to do that. And then to be at the point where we can get granular, but the biggest answer is seeing my face on the marquee of the place that I always dreamed of being in. And then you just learn more.
Yeah.
And like, I was past there. You know what's weird? And here's, dude, I hope everyone who wants to try stand up does it. And I mean that.
Yeah.
But it's like at the end of the day, the more you do it, you realize why some people do it as a career and some people get out, and it's not stupid to get out.
Right.
And it's not quitting to get out. It's just smarter to get out sometimes.
Right.
I was past there, which means you become, you send in your availability and you become part of the regular rotation to be there. The guy who passed me was let go almost immediately after that, and you start back at zero. Right. So that was after like 7 years of working really hard to get in there. And so that kind of thing is like at any given time, it really just depends on who's making the decisions to flip a switch and say, you basically don't even exist here. So going from being on the marquee to that is a lot, but that was that's like the reality of the situation.
Right.
But being on the marquee meant a lot to me. Being passed is based on who holds a pencil. Being on the marquee at the Improv, which leads me to another one, just the way that I'm treated in general at the Hollywood Improv. After one of the first times I went there, being like, not disrespected or made fun of, but like I did bad and the host made fun of me, which is what happens. But going from that and then coming home and being like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And you're like, we didn't travel all this way so you could not do stand up.
Yeah. I was
and now, like, look how it is there now.
Yeah.
Like between Surrounded and my relationship with the people who run that place, and even the way I'm treated by the people who work at that place makes me feel really good. Makes me feel like I've come a long way.
Yeah.
Working with The Rock still have a hard time putting that into words. Going to JFL this year is gigantic. I tried to get into JFL for years. It's like you submit an audition tape and then they have auditions at clubs and you have to go audition. And I tried to do that so many times. And then the way I got in was with the crowd work show. So if that's not the most like be yourself and trust in yourself thing that's ever happened. Yeah. I think about that a lot. Going to Moon Tower in Austin, being kind of like a peer at the Comedy Store that still kind of feels like a new thing. But I get a certain amount of respect from my friends at the Comedy Store. Right. And that feels really good because that was a place that I think when you first move here, you go there and you're just intimidated for a couple of years straight. And then I think there's something that switches over where people see you do good enough where they're like, oh, you belong to be here with us. Yeah. So that, and then I put the fact that I have a little story about the 3 most famous clubs in the world on this list is a nice little look how far I've come thing. Yeah. What?
You keep moving, so.
This is me. Yeah. I'm Italian. I talk with my head.
Kevin, if it's not in focus, it's my fault.
How I get treated at the Stand in New York City. Yeah,
that's great. I love when we go there.
Yeah, me too, man. It's that place. That place made me feel like home the way that Improv did. So that's like East Coast Improv for me. Yeah. And when me and Kevin, this is the last one on the list. I'm sorry for anyone who's bored. When me and Kevin shot the You Got Toes in Toronto, and first of all, having that out and not hating it still, it wasn't like the coming to the stage thing where I went up and I was like, I thought it went bad. I cried in the parking lot. And then watching it years later, I'm like, it's not bad, but it's not it's just a reflection of where I was at that time. But the You Got Toes thing, it's like me and Kevin went up there, and Kevin was like, you know, we're going to film like 3 shows and take the best out of whatever and film it like a regular whatever. So I got off the stage after the first show at the corner, and I walked directly up to Kevin, and I was like, that's the one. So when you watch the special You Got Toes, it's the first show that we did in Toronto. Mm-hmm. And then we filmed a bunch of stuff after that, which became clips and stuff like that. But all of those things, I think that's when I first started being like incredibly comfortable, and I was like, that's who I am.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff. That was the long-winded version of that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Why?
I don't know. It makes me
it's
feel
all
really
interesting.
good to talk
Yeah,
about
of course. It's like a huge accomplishment, you know, like we were having this conversation not too long ago, you know, like, did you ever think that we would be where we are almost 9 years later?
I think we always knew that both of us wanted to be really successful in the things that we've done or are doing. And I think we could both still go a long way, obviously. But it's also like, since Connecticut YouTube days, since before that, since like music times, I was like, dude, I just want to be able to sustain myself doing artistic things.
Right.
And there's a lot that goes along with that. And a lot of different jobs you never thought that you would have. But I am doing that. And then you're doing that. Did you ever think you were going to fucking go all over the world and be in a cruise ship and, you know, like all this shit? We just work really hard. And we knew that we were going to sustain ourselves being our own boss and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you learn what goes into that, and you kind of either jump ship, not on the cruise ship. Boogie's in the pool. And you either do it or you find a way where you are in charge of less of it.
Right.
And you go down some other path. And both of that is right, but we kind of committed to, we're going to work for ourselves.
Right.
And hard for each other, and we've done that.
Yeah, I think that, you know, when you want something so bad and wants to do something and be better and keep doing better and keep growing and all of the things, and you make it part of your everyday, that's just the most important thing. And like, as long as you're having fun while you're still doing it, like, don't get me wrong, there's definitely parts of our lives where it fucking wasn't fun, and it was stressful, and it was a lot of tears and a lot of, you know, uncertainty, and
Zoe crushed her sinuses, so she can't say.
I know.
All words.
Dude, my face fucking hurts. Thank God for cover up. I do have 2 tiny black eyes.
Finish your thought though. It was good.
You know, like, you question, and you constantly are pushing and trying to move forward, and you just feel like you just keep getting like knocked back down. But I think the most important part of all of that is, if you truly believe A, in yourself, and B, in what you're doing, you just keep fucking getting up and going. And that's the only thing that you can do.
Yeah.
And
when you're at the bottom of that pool, you got to swim up, and you got to check and see if your face is broken. You got to push forward, or else you're never going to win old times. And also, dude,
old timers. Okay.
Whatever, dude. The game's over.
Hate it.
Player.
I hate it.
Game is over.
Yeah.
The kid who gets hurt ruins it. This is why we don't play this fucking game.
Dead times.
But you're 100% right. And even this week, when I was feeling, it was like I had a popcorn kernel. Even when I was feeling really antisocial and fucking lame, I still would come back here and like edit a video or write down something that I thought was funny, or host those fucking teen shows at the Improv.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I don't feel like talking to anyone, but at least I have a stand-up show tonight.
Yeah.
And it's weird how when you make this commitment to what you want to be and what you want to do, how it becomes part of your everyday life no matter what. Like, I could have a day where I do nothing, but you bet your ass I'm still like
doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I want to. It's not because it just becomes second nature after a while.
Yeah. I'm going to say these one words.
I'll go fast.
And you only one word answers.
One word answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Critical Hit Photography says swear.
Cock.
King cream cheese. King Chem
Trails.
Creams. I don't even know.
Okay.
Space.
Space?
Mm-hmm.
Cold.
David.
Aliens. I'm changing it to aliens.
Giggle fits.
Steve.
Boobies.
Yes.
Hats. Yes.
Yes, again. Having one.
Bees.
Can I say I'm happy that I have a Mets hat?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
I haven't had a Mets hat in a long time. And I used to have a black one that I wore all the time in my teens. And
Where'd
now I got
go?
a black Mets hat. It's just gone.
Yeah. Bees.
Boob.
Children.
Small.
Batman.
Zoya being a terrible example for them. Batman reminds me of old YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say Robin, but rashes.
Well, I guess maybe next week we'll ask you one
rashes.
Word. Rashes? Batman.
Okay. Genies.
Banana bottles. Rub me the right ways.
Music.
Christina Aguilera's Genie in a Bottle.
Games.
Games?
Yeah.
Chris Isaac.
Wisdom. Don't jump into shallow pools.
Teeth. Yes.
And chains. Doritos. Cool Ranch.
You are not allowed.
I'm so sorry.
Cool
Yes.
Ranch is my
Yes.
answer.
Or this spicy, sweet and spicy.
Dude, can I tell you something else?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go to a 4th of July thing. Mm-hmm. Never want to go empty-handed because people are out there barbecuing since 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought unsalted tortilla chips and a bottle of peach habanero salsa.
Uh-huh.
And it was very good.
Yeah.
And there's like that sweet and spicy is very good. Zoya's trying to put her head back in place. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And I was so self-conscious about bringing it to a place because I was like, is this situation where the person brings the thing that only they like and then they sit at the table and they fucking
The only
eat the
person
thing?
that's eating it. That's so funny.
And I didn't want that to happen so bad.
Yeah.
So I was racking my brain and I was like, what's the most generic shit that everybody likes that I could bring to this fucking place? And then I was like, it's way easier to not go.
Yeah.
I didn't go. And then I went golfing with fucking,
Yeah.
whoever. The fucking shitty Abbott and Costello.
Yeah. Whalers.
203.
Make.
Push.
Christmas movies.
The Christmas movies.
Wrestling.
Fred.
Sneeze.
Jesus Christ.
MITB?
Or not TB.
Okay.
That is the question.
All right. Donuts.
Dude, I dropped off Clifford the other night because she got drunk at the Improv. And there's this place by her in Burbank that is like a little donut hut 24/7. And they make their donuts real late at night. And you fucking know. You know what I did.
Them fresh boys.
You know I got them fresh boys.
Jeez.
Dude, I'm not done talking about the donuts. And I got a chocolate one, which is chocolate donut, chocolate frosting. And then I got a regular chocolate frosted, which is regular donut and chocolate frosting. And the chocolate frosted donut was so warm in the middle. And it felt like caraming with my mouth.
Cheese.
Caraming with my mouth, I said.
Beans.
I liked whipped cream cheese. That's what
It is.
made me think of
It's
that.
tasty.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Beans. Magical fruit.
We watched something about Mary the other day.
Uh-huh.
And that made me remember pork and beans. And that everyone said that for like 3 years.
Forever, yeah.
Problematic.
Desserts.
Donuts.
Halloween.
Candy.
Oopsie daisy.
This is what Zoya said when her face hit the
I
ball.
hate you. On that note, you guys.
Thank you for being back, Zoya. Thank you for being patient.
Thank you so much for listening. I'm glad that I was able to do this and not have 2 broken wrists. And I'll take a broken face.
Yeah.
And whiplash. You guys, as you know, Patreon.com is virtual tipping and rewards website where you give us a little bit of your hard-on cash.
Give me your hard-on cash.
Yeah, and we give our $10 group a shout-out, and that goes a little something like this. Matthew Carey, D. Aldi, Olos Marius, Patrick Simpson, Ernesto, Raja, Eliseas, Joe Terzin, Louis and Odette, Lauren Chauncey, Paul Gilliam, Jacob Mock, Steve Diergo, Chris McCarthy, Trevor the Werefishy, Joe Penn, Happy Birthday Starlight, JJ McToots, Rachel Last Name, Mike Genie, Alan Garcia, Connie Tryon, Isabella Sparkles, Antero Baez, Frankie Matos Music. Chris Fernandez, Johnny Rizito, Handcrafted Neckwear, CC PB&J, Ad Mammed, Chili Filson, Emily Paget, Lizzie Love, Gavin Welsh, Crossed Up, Somebody Tell Aaron, Emily Buck, Jackie Hammond, Paige Junesen, Guy with Long Hair, Chris Johnson, Happy Birthday Chris, Anna Valles, Benjamin Putz, Beth Bush, Snugglepig H, Ryan Ashbrook, Christina Camille, Josh Jinston. Yes. Yeah. Michael Johnson, Kayla Johnston, Grant Levasseur, Jules Runn, Chad Clark, Joe Finney, what is Heather Ashley, what is Kat, Katie Taylor, Shane Welsh, Joe Ban, Milky Beans, Jess Enright, Lillian Carrillo, Magnus Silva, Barrington Lloyd Lovett, Ben Fuchs, Theodorus Carambelis, One Bem Man, Janisha Tutton, Danny Sinclair, Jacob D. Bradford, Justine Biebestein, Just Josh, Sergeant Sparty, Ed Birch, Helen Ford, Superfloss, Tatiana Clay, Danielle G. Verona, Sean Stone, Valerie York, Dev, Katie Lee G, Rob Devereux, Don Go Chasing Waterfalls.
That's very good.
Nestor De Leon III, Luis Hernandez, Alexander Legowski, Monique Quistorf. Twistendorf. Jamie Garner, Troy R., Cody Ostalas, Felicia Shamberi, and Matthew J. Palka. You guys, thank you so much for listening. We love you, and we'll talk to you next week.
I think this is the first week. First of all, this is the first week for full episodes on YouTube for everybody. And I would like to say that on the 6th, which is fucking today, I'm going to be at the La Jolla Comedy Store. On the 7th, in San Diego, I'm going to be at Mission Bay Beach Club with a bunch of my friends in San Diego. On the 9th, I'm going to be at the Nightcap in Burbank. Then we go on vacation. Fucking don't bother me. On the 14th, I'm going to be somewhere. You figure it out. And then I leave for Salem, Oregon. 2 shows on the 16th. First show is sold out. If you're anywhere near Salem, Oregon, or Portland, or whatever, please buy a ticket to the second show. I'm going to be driving 13 hours for that ass. And trip up is going to be amazing religious experience. Trip back is going to be, get me out of this place.
Yeah.
So come hang out. It's going to be fun.
You guys, thank you so much for listening, and we love you. Bye.